The night was quiet, and the forest shimmered under the silver moonlight. King Vikramaditya, brave and strong, walked steadily through the dark woods. On his shoulder hung Betal, the clever ghost, cold and lifeless. The wind howled, whispering secrets through the trees. Suddenly, Betal's eyes were opened, and he laughed with a sharp and haunting sound. O King Vikram, you are truly stubborn. Let me distract you with another story. Listen carefully, brave king. King Vikramaditya replied calmly, speak, Betal, I am ready for your story. The forest grew silent as Betal began his tale. In the great kingdom of Chandrapur, there lived a king whose name was Rajendra. King Rajendra was wise, just, and loved by all his people. His close advisor was Minister Someshwar, and he was a man of deep thought and honesty. Someshwar had one daughter, and her name was Bhavana. Bhavana was beautiful, graceful, and very intelligent. Her eyes sparkled with confidence, and her words always carried wisdom. Many princes from faraway lands came to marry her, but Bhavana refused them all by saying that she will marry only a man wiser than her. Her father smiled proudly, but he was worried too. He wondered that will anyone be able to match my daughter's wisdom? One fine morning, a young man named Ashok arrived at King Rajendra's court. Ashok was calm, humble, and sharp eyed. He wore simple royal blue robes and carried himself with dignity. The king asked kindly, young man, what brings you here? Ashok bowed and said, your Majesty, I have come here to seek the hand of Bhavana, the minister's daughter. The king chuckled. Many have tried, but she is not easily impressed. The minister thoughtfully said, O Majesty, let him prove his wisdom. I shall ask him three questions. If he answers wisely, he may marry my daughter. The royal court gathered eagerly to witness the challenge. Bhavana, dressed in elegant silk and watching all this, quietly sitting beside her father. Someshwar began with his first question. What is sharper than a sword but invisible? Ashok smiled gently and replied, my majesty, a word is sharper than a sword. It can wound deeper than steel. The court murmured in admiration, and the minister was pleased with his answer. Second question, what grows larger the more you take away from it? Ashok thought for a moment and said, a hole. The more you dig, the bigger it becomes. The courtiers again applauded. Bhavana's eyes shone with curiosity. Someshwar smiled again. My final question, what belongs to you but is used more by others? Without any hesitation, Ashok said, it is my name. The court burst into applause. The king clapped his hands and declared, you have indeed proven your wisdom, young man. Bhavana bowed respectfully and said, Father, I have found my equal. Someshwar and the king happily agreed. Soon, Ashok and Bhavana were married in a grand ceremony filled with music, lights, and blessings. The kingdom rejoiced in celebration. Days turned into months, and their life together was peaceful and joyful. But fate had some other plans. One day, King Rajendra decided to visit a neighboring kingdom for a peace treaty. He invited Someshwar and his son in law Ashok to accompany him. Their royal caravan began its journey through forest and valleys. The day was bright, but by the evening, dark clouds gathered overhead. A fierce storm broke out. Rain poured, lightning flashed, and thunders rolled. The travelers took shelter in a small hut at the edge of the forest. An old woman was living there, and she was weeping beside her sixth son. She cried that her son was dying and asking for help. Ashok knelt beside the man and examined him carefully. He has been poisoned, but he can be saved, Ashok said. We need a rare herb that grows deep in the forest. The storm raged severely, but without any hesitation, Ashok simply said, I will bring it. The king tried to stop him, but Ashok insisted that a life is at stake. He ran into the dark forest. Hours passed. The storm grew wilder. Ashok returned at last with the herb. He crushed it into a potion and gave it to the sick man. Slowly, the sick man opened his eyes and breathed again. The old woman fell at Ashok's feet and was crying with gratitude. King Rajendra said with pride, You are not only wise, but noble in heart. The king looked at Ashok thoughtfully and decided to test him once more. After reaching the kingdom, one day in the court, he asked, Ashok, if you had to choose between saving your father, your wife, or your king, whom would you save first? The court fell silent. Every face turned towards him. Ashok bowed deeply and said, My father gave me life. My wife gives me love. But my king gives me duty. Without duty, there can be no honor, no life, no love. So I would save my king first. The king was deeply impressed and said, You have spoken like a true man of wisdom. Your loyalty and understanding are beyond measure. The minister Someshwar nodded proudly, and Bhavana smiled with joy. Their hearts were full of respect for Ashok's noble spirit. Betal paused his story and said, O King Vikram, now tell me, who was the wisest among them? The minister who asked the questions, the daughter who chose her husband wisely, or the young man who answered and acted with wisdom? King Vikram was thinking deeply. The forest around them rustled with unseen spirits. After a moment, Vikram replied calmly. Each of them was wise in their own way. The minister tested with reason. The daughter chose her husband with understanding. But Ashok was the wisest of all because he not only spoke wisely but also lived by his wisdom. Betal's voice was echoing in the night. Ha 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 ha. O mighty Vikram, you have answered correctly once again. But since you broke your silence, our pact is broken here. With a flash of cold wind, Betal slipped from Vikram's shoulder. He flew back into the dark forest, laughing wildly. The King Vikram turned back towards the ancient tree once more. His task was not yet done, but his courage remained unshaken. He walked forward, determined as ever. The forest whispered again that justice, wisdom, and courage guide the true ruler. The story faded into silence, leaving behind a lesson eternal. True wisdom is not about clever words or riddles. It lies in choices made with compassion and courage, in selflessness that serves truth over ego, in action that matches words, in love that values duty and honor, and in justice that uplifts all hearts. Betal's laughter still echoed faintly in the distance. The stars glimmered through the misty night sky, and once again Vikram marched through the silent forest. His heart was firm, his spirit was unbroken, and his journey continued. Thank you for watching. Please like and share the video, subscribe and support my channel. Thank you. Jai Hind.